I remember him lying in bed at the manor. And we used to get some nice letters of get well and good wishes for Srila Prabhupada. And of course we would read these to him. So I was reading one letter from our godbrother Siddha. Now at that time, historically, Siddha had been a bit of a iconoclast in ISKCON. He was apart from the most of his godbrothers. He had his own unique style and perspective on things. And in that exact time, he had really left again. He had come in and then left again and gone back to his own establishment in Hawaii. But of course, he was a devotee of Prabhupada still. So he had written a get well card to Prabhupada, and I was reading it. Prabhupada was lying down, I was standing up, and the get well card said, "Dear Srila Prabhupada," he said a variety of things. I'm praying for your health and this and that. But he came to one particular line where he said, "I am a resident of Hawaii. And I hope that if you think of Hawaii sometime, you may also think of me." And I suddenly heard Prabhupada choke up and he burst out. I was looking at the card and I looked up at Prabhupada's face. And in that span of time, the tears had already come down, halfway down his cheeks. So I don't know if they sprayed out or what, or if they were already dripping. But they were clearly down at the level of his nose, the bottom of his nose. And he choked up and he said, "I am always thinking of you. I can never forget." And this was indicative of the way he was at that time. Any nice thought could bring him to tears and to deep appreciation.
I was amazed at Srila Prabhupada's being able to transcend his bodily condition. For example, I was there when, right near the end, and the Kaviraj, they had flown up from Calcutta, one of the best. Prabhupada had a dream about this Kaviraj. And he was a really excellent Kaviraj. You could see he was dhira, he was a sober practitioner, very Brahminical like that, and very, very reverential to Prabhupada. And he was from the Sri Sampradaya, big white and red tilak. And one day he told, I got this second hand, from perhaps Harisori, but he said, "You know, I had doubt that your Guru Maharaj was actually a Paramaham saint. But he said, I have assisted, thousands of people dying. And usually in this condition, when there's no more muscle and fat to cushion the nerves from being pressed against the bone, he said, people are in such agony that I have to administer morphine. And he says, your Guru Maharaj never manifests the slightest expression of pain."
This was told to me by one brahmachari who, when Srila Prabhupada was leaving, he came with his guru, and he had seen Srila Prabhupada a few times when he was a young boy in Bengal, and Prabhupada had asked him if he would help him by helping to train up his young boys, his young disciples. But he was pretty young himself at that time, didn't speak English, and he was terrified of the Western devotees because people had said that we were CIA and we would kidnap them and make them marry an American girl or something. So he was frightened, but he said that he always remembered that instruction. And then he said that when Srila Prabhupada was leaving, he was sitting in the room, and Srila Prabhupada was just lying on his bed. He wasn't saying anything. And he said he was sitting there and he was praying to Srila Prabhupada. "Oh, Srila Prabhupada, I know that you're fulfilling the order of Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur and Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, and I want to help. And I've never been able to do it, and I'm so sorry." And he was lamenting like that in his heart. But he said he also had some really deep questions about the holy name And I think this is a brahmachari who had been chanting 64 rounds for about 15 years. I don't know what questions he could have had, but he had some, and they were in his heart, and he was sitting there, and he said that all of a sudden the servant and whoever else was there went out of the room, and he was just alone with Srila Prabhupada, and Srila Prabhupada was lying on the bed, and he kind of looked at him, and he saw that Srila Prabhupada had one eye open, and with that eye he went like this. So he kind of was so nervous, but he scooted over, and Prabhupada kept going like this, come closer. And finally he got right next to Srila Prabhupada, and Srila Prabhupada put his mouth right by his ear, and he said in the most amazing way, Srila Prabhupada chanted the Mahamantra into his ear. And he said that when the Mahamantra went into his ear, just like a waterfall flowing into his heart, every answer to every question and 1,000 more came into his heart. He had never experienced anything like that meaning of the holy name that Prabhupada was giving him. And then he said he looked at Srila Prabhupada, and Srila Prabhupada just looked at him with the one eye, and then he just closed his eye.
Prabhupada's position, after you were with Prabhupada for a while, you got used to Prabhupada's physical condition that was so devastating when you first saw. So we would be around Prabhupada's bed, and then new devotees would come in, and as they first saw Srila Prabhupada, they'd start crying, and it would be so pathetic that we'd all start crying. The Swedish devotees crying when they first saw Srila Prabhupada. So we'd all started crying. And then Prabhupada said, at one point he says, "Why are you all crying?" So he said, "Srila Prabhupada, we're crying because you're so sick, and we are afraid that you may leave." And Prabhupada said, "I will never leave you." He said, "I live forever in my books. I will never leave you. I will live forever within my books, so there's no reason to cry." He said, "Old people cry. Old people die. That is natural." He said, "When a young person dies, that's some mistake, because young person should live to their old. When they're old, they should die. And that's, for me, it's natural. It's a natural thing, so don't cry." So then one devotee said, "But Srila Prabhupada, we're crying because we can't be without you. And when you leave, we won't know how to communicate with you." And Prabhupada said, "Oh, I will communicate with you through your heart." He said, "I will come to you in your dreams as Chaitya Guru. I will communicate with you through dreams," Prabhupada said, as Chaitya Guru. I also found that a little controversial, because I thought my godbrothers wouldn't have approved, but Prabhupada had said it. Prabhupada said it right there, that he would communicate with us through dreams.
In the final days, which was the most poignant, we were there in Vrindavan and having like the vigil, the kirtan, and taking turns chanting softly with the little cymbals. And at a certain point, I got sick. I got this fever. I don't know what it was. I just one day just walked back to my room and just collapsed right in my room, and just fever. And so I was sick for a few days, and anyway, it took me about a week or so to recover, and then I was able to, when I got better, then I was able to again go and see Prabhupada. So when I came there, of course Prabhupada was just lying on his bed, and he was conversing with his servants, and sometimes he would ask who was having the kirtan. And so that particular day he asked, and they said, they mentioned my name, and then Prabhupada said, "Oh, Brahmananda, And then he made me come, and then I came forward, and so he said, you were ill, you were not feeling well. I mean, here's Prabhupada, you know, just completely shriveled, and I mean, Prabhupada was not maybe feeling. I mean, when Prabhupada was concerned, I'm not feeling well. I had just a little fever, and here's Prabhupada on his departure bed, and he said, "Oh, you were not." I mean, he with such concern, and really with love, and I just was totally, you know. Affected by that, how Prabhupada could be thinking that I wasn't feeling well. So I think this is the thing that affected me most, how much Prabhupada loved us. But the thing is, we're not very lovable. And we all have defects and so on. But why did Prabhupada love us? And he loved us because he saw us as servants of Krishna. And he also even said that we were sent by his Guru Maharaj to help in his mission. But anyway, Prabhupada saw us as Krishna's servants, and his mission was to spread Krishna consciousness. So whatever we could do to assist and do something in this cause of Krishna consciousness, Prabhupada very much appreciated, and I think that's the essence of Srila Prabhupada. At least he could see us as servants of Krishna. So let us just try and be that. That's all.
Je anilo prema